Hey everybody, so we're solving quadratic equations and we have to be careful to make sure we know the equation's quadratic before we start factoring. Okay, recall, you know an equation's quadratic because it has the term x squared in it. So if you do not see the x squared, then it's not quadratic right then and there. Do not start moving the other terms over and setting it equal to 0. You only start moving terms to the left and setting the equation equal to 0 when you physically see the x squared. So if you look at your PowerPoint, here's my equation. It's in parentheses x plus 3, in another parentheses x plus 8 equals x. Well, if you look at that equation, we know it's an equation. It has an equal sign. But right now, looking at it, it is not quadratic. I do not see an x squared anywhere. So you are not allowed to move that x on the right over to the left yet. It wouldn't make sense. How can you move it anyway? How can you take a term that's outside of parentheses and just stick it inside? You can't. But the rule of thumb is you do not move terms to the left till you're guaranteed you know it's quadratic by seeing the x squared. So what happens here is we got to simplify the left side. X plus 3 times x plus 8. We need to multiply that out. And because it's a binomial times a binomial, yes, we have to do FOIL. So first term would be x squared. Outer term would be 8x. Inner term would be 3x. Last term would be 24. Yes, when we do FOIL, we collect like terms. So now on the left side, we have x squared plus 11x plus 24 equals x. Now, everybody look closely. Do you see the x squared? Yes. Now we physically see the x squared, which means it's quadratic. So now we're allowed to move that x over to the left by subtracting it. And we're going to subtract that x to its term that's like, which is the 11x. So in the correct descending order, the left side's now going to be x squared. 11x minus x would be 10x plus 24 equals 0. So our new quadratic equation is x squared plus 10x plus 24 equals 0. Now that it's quadratic and everybody's on the left side, set equal to 0, we're ready to factor. What rule of factoring are we going to use? GCF, difference of perfect squares, trinomial, or are we going to have to use grouping? Good. It's an easy trinomial. It's got 3 terms. It begins with an x squared. So this one we can do in our head. We put our 2 sets of parentheses. We say what multiplies to x squared in algebra? That's easy, x times x. We go to our last term, 24. We physically on paper write out all the factors of 24. That's 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Which of those factors add to make the 10x in the middle? That's easy. It'd be 6 and 4 or 4 and 6. I want to add, so I know the signs have to be the same. I want to add to a positive 10x. They both have to be positive. So that's why in my parentheses I have x plus 6. In my other parentheses I have x plus 4. Now I'm no longer quadratic. I do not see an x squared. Now I have 2 x's. Every quadratic factors into 2 linear equations. So now I said both of my x's equal to 0. So x plus 6 equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. That's my 2 linear equations. I solve each by doing the inverse of addition, which is subtraction, and I get my 2 solutions. X is negative 6, x equals negative 4. We should check those, but again, the moral of the story is this. When you solve a quadratic, you should get 2 solutions, and they both should check. If they both check, you did your work correctly. If your solutions didn't check, that would tell you you made a boo-boo. All right, let's go to the whiteboard.